Now, about 2 days ago, I heard Trevor Lane say that Rob Pelinka deserved credit for the Luka trade. That is on his resume, and that's total bullcrap. And in any other aspect of our lives, we would not receive credit for such a trade, right? For example, I used to work at a power plant, and part of my job as a control room operator was to allow people in and out of the gate. If I allowed someone in the gate who then, left donuts for everybody, do I get credit for that? This is an often occurrence, right? And I know I wouldn't get credit for that. No one would even think to say thanks to me. They say thanks to the person who supplied the donuts, right? And it sounds to me like about a week ago when Trevor Lane attributed credit to Rob Pelinka for the Luka Doncic trade, I keep saying that I'm not saying that some of these podcasts are on the Laker payroll. I'm not saying that. I am saying that Laker executives or someone is putting something out, putting narratives out, and these cats are picking it up. Because it makes no sense to attribute the Luka Doncic trade to Rob Pelinka. He was sitting in the seat. But let me ask you guys this. If the other 29 general managers were sitting in the seat, how many of them do you think would have pulled off that trade or executed that trade or finalized that trade? I'm inclined to say 29 other teams would have. Of course, it depends on what they ask for. I'm just saying, if they were the Laker GM at the time, if you, the watcher, one of the few watchers, were a Laker GM at that time, would you have been able to pull off that trade? I'm going to argue 95% of people would pull off that trade. So then what the hell are you giving Rob Pelinka credit for? And I brought up when I heard Trevor Lane say this because I believe it's a narrative that is pushed by Laker management. And it's put out so that the talking heads will pick it up and run with it and control your minds. I do believe that. Because I've seen similar things, like, for example, with Dorian Finney-Smith. I am not surprised that is a player that the Lakers traded for. But this other reason why I bring that up is because I want you to juxtapose what happens as far as the narrative around Rob Pelinka once this new management group gets their feet wet. Watch what happens then. Because I'm inclined to think that the truth about the job Rob Pelinka was doing will now start to become more prevalent. Because fact is, Rob Pelinka got way more negatives than he does positives. If you have a championship team, a lot of you want to stop with that. History starts and stops with the bubble championship. Well, he won us a championship. How long are you going to yell that shit? He won us a championship. How long are you going to yell that? Furthermore, I'd argue that the Lakers won a championship because LeBron was 5 years younger and Anthony Davis was 5 years younger. As good as those two are now, they were 5 years younger in 2020. That's what I'd argue. But if you guys are so quick to want to give Rob Pelinka credit, go for it. All I'm asking is that you acknowledge the other bullshit he participated in also. Right? How the championship team that was formed, that started basically with Magic Johnson proposing a trade with New Orleans, and then the damn near exact same trade getting executed under Rob Pelinka. There was a second part to that. We acquired Anthony Davis. We were supposed to get Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. Got neither. Had to pick up the best of the rest in the NBA. After we won the title, next year, team is injury riddled. And then Rob Pelinka blew up the team. Gave away pieces, parts, and assets for nothing or negatives. And then commits to do nothing. Actually, I'm not going to say nothing. That's not true. He did very little in the subsequent years. That's just the truth, y'all. Look, I only bring this video up to let it be known, yo, you can stop bullshitting yourselves now. Rob Pelinka was a terrible GM. The dude deserves no credit. If Rob Pelinka deserves credit for the Luka trade, it's the periphery of that trade, right? So we all know the meat and potatoes of the trade. Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, right? But what else had to be involved in it? Given Rob Pelinka, I don't know if he gave up more or less than what Dallas expected. I have no idea what that dude. All I know is that the trade being executed, don't attribute it to him. That you don't have to anymore. Okay, we got new management in here. So you don't have to kiss his ass, man. And again, I don't think it's necessarily the fans doing it, but it's the talking heads, man. I believe they're picking up what management has been laying down for years now. And I believe they've been picking up what management's been laying down for years now. And I hope that stops. I hope it stops. And that's part of the reason why I started this channel. Because it was too many things that were being parroted between what management was saying and then what the talking heads started saying. Or what the talking heads were saying, and then all of a sudden you see management go and do it. I knew for a long time. I was like, you know what? If they go and pick up Dorian Finney-Smith, I'm done. I'm done. Right? And what do I mean by that? Well, the talking heads were yelling DFS, 3-and-D wing, and then Dorian Finney-Smith. For years, they've been yelling that shit. So I'm sitting there thinking, dude, what are the chances that out of all the players in the NBA, we going to pick up Dorian Finney-Smith? And you know what I said to myself? The chances are good. Because there's not a doubt in my mind that management, executives for the Lakers, are using the talking heads as a bellwether. You see, look, I'm starting out this channel knowing that the way I speak and what I speak on, I'm not going to be financially successful. Right? I know that. I mean, look at the production. Right? I got camera work. I got lights and cameras and shit. I'm not using it because I don't want to be affiliated with that type of talk show, of that type of channel. Right? I want you guys to know when you see this, you're getting the raw. Well, there are plenty of channels that look the part. And when they speak, you're inclined to think there's a little bit more credibility that goes into what they're saying. And you know what? There might be more credibility that goes into what they're saying. Because again, what management and executives say, these cats are picking up. And then what they're saying, management and executives are picking up. Right? They play off each other. They're weaponizing their positions in their respective fields in order to help themselves get over. I firmly believe that. I was not shocked one bit when Dorian Finney-Smith was traded to the Lakers. I was actually waiting for that. And it's funny because after sitting out all damn summer, the one move that we made prior to the Luka trade was for Dorian Finney-Smith. That's a move on the margins. If you see any result, it's not going to be a lasting result. That dude does not have that kind of impact on the team. It was a move on the margins. It was a move to satisfy you. To satisfy your quote-unquote bloodlust for a trade. That's all it was. Yeah, so I hope that now we have new management in, we see a different nature of show that comes out of Laker Nation. A show that's not afraid, that's not kissing ass, that's not picking up, or feels like it's picking up what management is laying down. It's actually saying what they think and what they want and what they feel. But yeah, man, I didn't make this video to crap on Rob Pelinka. I made this video because really it's a shot to Laker Nation. It's a shot to the talk shows that accompany Laker Nation. Y'all, you guys don't have to kiss ass, man. Because there's not a doubt in my mind that when Trevor Lane uttered the words, I'm paraphrasing, Rob Pelinka deserves credit for the Luka trade. That's on his resume. When he said something to that effect, I don't think he would have said it after the trade was made. I don't think he believes that. I don't. In my opinion, that's like saying, well, Robert Horry deserves credit for, every one of his 7 championships, as far as the greatest ever debate. It's that type of logic. It's like, yo, dude, you're not putting any context on this. Put some context on it. Yeah, Robert Horry was essential, but he wasn't the main cog on any team. I believe he is a Hall of Famer, but he just wasn't the main cog on any team. So when you talk about his 7 championships in reference to Michael Jordan's 7, Michael Jordan's 6, or Kobe's 5, you got to put some context on it. So just to say, oh yeah, well, that goes on Rob Pelinka's resume. He was there. He did it. He was a GM. It goes on his resume. It's like, come on, man. You guys put some context on it, man. I mean, just be a little bit more intelligent. You almost feels like you're being deliberately, unintelligent. Don't be deliberate with your shit, man. Anyway, y'all, yeah, man, I just felt the need to let it be known, because I'm hoping that Rob Pelinka's days are numbered. Lakers will be better off when that dude is gone. But yeah, man, I just had to let it be known. Hey, y'all, dude deserves no credit for the Luka trade. If he does deserve credit, we'll never know, because the only place he might deserve credit is in the periphery, right? The Max Christie, the first round picks, Maxi Kleber. He deserves credit on that shit. But as far as the meat and potatoes, man, give me a break. Go somewhere with that dumb shit, man. Anyway, y'all, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.